Hey guys, I want to go ahead and talk about solving some of these systems of equations using the elimination method. Now the whole purpose of the elimination method is you want to eliminate one of the variables in order to solve for the other one. So if you notice here, I got this guy, they have to be lined up. X over X, Y over Y, and the constants. Now what I want to do is want to cancel one of these letters so that I can solve for the other. Now it doesn't really matter which one you cancel out, but you want to think which one's easier. Now in this case, negative 4 plus 4, that cancels out. So I don't need to worry about that guy. I don't need to do anything to it. So this guy cancels out immediately. And what's going to happen? Well, 3x, and this is a positive x, that's going to give me 4x. Now what happens to the y? Well, it disappears. You don't have to put a 0y. Over here, negative 5 plus 9, well, that's going to give me a positive 4. And when you divide, you get x is equal to 1. Okay? Now that I have my x, I have to find my y. So what do? I plug this guy back into one of these two. I can use the top equation or I can use the bottom. It doesn't matter. But I want to work smarter, not harder. So I want to use the easier one. So I want to use the bottom. So instead of x, I'm going to put 1. So I'm going to put 1 plus 4y is equal to 9. And then I go ahead and solve it. So let's go ahead and take this guy over. It becomes a negative 1. And then the 4y is equal to 8. You divide, y is equal to 2. So in this case, the point becomes x equals 1, y equals 2. Alright? Let's do this one. If you notice this guy right here, I really can't cancel out the y. That's going to be kind of hard. But notice here, I might be able to cancel out the x's. But you have to have the same number. So what I'm going to do is sometimes you have to multiply it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply this bottom equation by negative 3. Why negative 3? Because when you multiply this by negative 3, alright, this guy's going to cancel out. Alright, so watch what I do. The top, I'm going to leave it the same, so it's going to be 3x minus 4y is equal to negative 5. On the bottom, I'm going to get negative 3x. Negative 3 times positive 3, that becomes a positive 9y. I'm sorry, negative 9y. I'm going too fast here. Okay, so we have negative 3x. Negative 3 times positive 3 is a negative 9y. And then negative 3 times 7 is a negative 21. Okay? Alright, so if you notice, the 3 minus 3, that's going to simplify out. Now over here you have negative 4, and then you have negative 9. Or negative 4 minus 9 is negative 13. Now what about here? Negative 5 and negative 21, that's going to give you negative 26. And when you divide that, you should get y is equal to positive 2. Now I have to go back and find the x. So how do I do that? Well, I'm going to use one of these two. I can use either one of these as well, but I want to use the easiest one. So it looks like x plus 3y equals 7. Seems like that's the easiest one. So I'm going to put x plus, and so I'm going to use 3 times, instead of y, I'm going to put a 2 equals 7. So that's going to give me x equals 6. Whoops. X plus 6 is equal to 7. And what number plus 6 equals 7? That's easy. That's 1. So here again we have the point of intersection is 1, 2. So again, guys, notice that I have these two equations. The purpose and the objective is to eliminate one variable. In the first example, we eliminated the y, but now that's going to be hard here. And I notice this guy here, if I can multiply the bottom by a negative 3, the x's are going to cancel out. The only thing you got to remember is you got to multiply every single term. The x, the 3y, and the 7. Okay? Then this guy cancels out. This guy combines. This guy combines. You do the math. Boom, you got the y equals 2. And then you just use the 2. You plug it back into the equation. Alright, let's do one more, which is a little bit more challenging. And your professor will definitely have you guys do these. Now, if you notice, nothing cancels out. And what I'm going to have to do in this one, I'm going to have to multiply both equations. So I'm going to multiply both equations. How do I do that? Well, I got to pick the least common denominator. I could either cancel out the x's or cancel out the y's. Now, let's see, what's the common number of 3 and 4? The common multiple of 3 and 4 is 12. That's a big number. What about this guy? Common multiple of 2 and 3? 6. So what am I going to make it? My LCD is 6. So I want to make these guys into a 6. Well, how do I do that? Well, this guy here, I can multiply by a 3. 3 times 2, that becomes 6. Now, what about the bottom? I got to multiply the bottom by 2 and see what happens. Okay, so watch what happens, how I do that. 3 times negative 3, negative 9x. 3 times 2, positive 6y. 3 times negative 11, negative 33. On the bottom, the second equation, 2 times 4 is 8. 2 times negative 3, negative 6. 2 times 15 is 30. Now you see these guys are matching up. Those guys are going to cancel out. We can do that. Negative 9 plus 8 is negative 1. And then negative 33 plus 30, that's going to give me negative 3. X, when you divide by that negative, equals positive 3. Now, we got to go ahead and solve for the y. I think I'm going to use this guy here. I don't really like this negative in front of the 3. So, 4x, 4 times 3 minus 3y is equal to 15. Okay. So let's keep going. That's going to give me 12 minus 3y is equal to 15. Let's go ahead and take this 12, bring them across. That's going to become a negative 12. You're left with 15 minus 12 is 3. Don't forget this negative in the front, okay? Negative 3y. When you divide, you should get y equals negative 1. Okay? And so the point of intersection, or the solution, is 3 comma negative 1. Alright? Alright guys, so hopefully that helped, and shoot me a message if you want more examples. Thank you.